See, I will go for just 2 points. Let us look at what has been the functioning of the planning and development authorities in the last 25 years. Because when you want to apply some remedial measure and correct the wrongs, you have to analyze what has been the failure. And there has been a failure of the system. Only when one admits that there is a failure, one takes steps to correct. One such is, if you look at the section 20 of the creation of the PDAs, there are many points which are listed there. And regulating the development, म्हणजे फायली लोकांच्यो अप्रूव करप, that is only one small part of the rule. To regulate that everything comes in terms of the regulation. पण तांकां positive role खूप आसा. Positive role in taking part in the development process of the city. To act as a complementary body to the local municipality or the panchayat if they are part of the planning area. But this has not happened. You will see that the PDAs have tried even to undertake one small project and they have failed. I am not blaming anybody, but let us examine. आता एक पणजे मळ्यान एक मार्केट स्टार्ट केलेलें. कितलीं वर्सां जालीं? 20-25 वर्सां जातलीं. Finally, I think now, as I understand, that project is going to be scrapped. Now, why is this happening? Why public funds are being put to wrong use? Why cannot the PDA be a partner in the development process of that planning area?
Not just be an administrative body.
दुसरें, जेन्ना आमी रिजनल प्लॅन आउटलायन रिजनल प्लॅन तरी जालोच, आउटलायन डेव्हलपमेंट प्लॅन रिव्हिजनाक घेता हातीन. लोकांची कितें कितें अपेक्षा आसता, कोण म्हणटा FAR वाडय हें कर तें बरें आसा. पूण दुसरी लोकांची अपेक्षा आसा त्या प्लॅनिंग एरियान ग्रीन जमनी आसतात, शेतां आसतात शेतकामत्याची, दोंगर असतात आनी ते तसल्यो जागा क्लियरली डिमार्केट करून तेका नो डेव्हलपमेंट झोन आनी कितें कितें कायदे लागू ते करून. Because generally the social unrest is because we are taking away sometimes cultivable land which is not suitable for development. So तुम्ही पळय विचारलेले that a balance has to be achieved. What we are bringing under development through a revision in the ODP and what has to be conserved as a part of this, as a positive exercise. So I would like this to happen through a process of dialogue.
एक गजाल सांगा म्हाका, हो जो मुद्दो आसा सिस्टमीचो, what is your opinion? Has system failed us or we have failed the system?
No, it is like this. I feel that they know only but the system. They don't want to use their intelligence to go beyond the actual 90%, 95% role of the PDAs. I think this is very important. I'll just give you an example, how we should look at it. Our entire domain can be divided in what we need to conserve, what we need to renew. That means wherein the town planning scheme is a part of a renewal process. That means there is a stock which is not good and there where development can take place. And third is the area where no development can take place or newer developments can take place. This, I would put it, conserve is where you're conserving the entire thing. Renewal is where you are augmenting the stock by removing because it doesn't have any value, and identifying new centers of growth so that it is like a sacrificial anode. That means what you are trying to do is you are trying to provide growth here. Otherwise, the growth will happen in the conservation area. That's what is happening now. So, if we...
But how to strike that balance? For example, जेन्ना ताळगांवची आनी म्हापशांची ओपन केली, मॅक्झिमम पीपल, मोर दॅन 90% ऑफ द पीपल जी सजेशन्स आयली ती कन्वर्जना खातीर आयली की आपल्याक आपली जमीन कन्वर्ट करपाक जाय. लोक मागतात. Then what are you expecting authorities to do? Say that I am not allowing you, or just strictly go by the rules and say this is black and this is white, there are no grey areas?
No, I feel that if there is a generic formula wherein FAR has become an issue wherein only the demand is FAR. When one is talking of an application or something, you make it into commercial zone or you change the FAR. It should not be that, because that should be a part of a normal process wherein you put it in a formula, say that if it is falling within the parameters, he gets it. So it should be very transparent. if you make it very transparent, then it gets out of this agenda, and then you can concentrate on actually centers of growth and working on these three elements. I feel that.
How are you looking at it? I'll give you maximum chance to talk on this topic.
See, it is. I feel that the ODPs cannot work in isolation. They have to take into account the municipalities, the sewerage, the agencies. Unfortunately for Goa, we have different agencies providing the infrastructure. We have the PWD providing water and electricity. We have the sewerage department providing sewerage. We have another transport department which is, in most other places, all these come under the municipality. Municipality is responsible for providing all this under one umbrella. So that is not happening in Goa. So as a result of which, PDA does one thing, and the infrastructure which is supposed to be provided by the other agencies is not in tune with what the PDA wants. It's a very simple thing. If the PDA should be able to project development, they should be able to foresee development in a particular area. Let's take the case of Vasco. Vasco being a very peninsula and a lot of land occupied by government agencies, the only area in which it is expanding is towards Chikalim, Sankwal. And those were not very eco-sensitive areas. They were hardlands, they were plateaus. They could have easily foreseen that there is development going to happen in this place. They could have provided for wider roads. They could have provided for electricity. They could have provided for sewerage.
How to decide which area can be newly included or
So
not
this
included?
is the data that the PDA should be having with them. This is
Under-
a part of the planning process.
I will tell you,
Study,
under
you know.
section 26 of the town planning
The
act,
moment you go into environment impact assessment study, it is a very, very time consuming process.
Pramod,
It is not that time consuming if you look at the basic parameters of an EIA.
So
No, no, I will also tell you, give me one
EIA,
homework.
don't look at EIA as a requirement of the government. What stops the PDA from making its own environment and impact assessment on a particular area?
Nilesh, please listen. Under section 26 of the Town and Country Planning Act, one, the PDAs are supposed to prepare an existing land use map and register. Has this register been prepared and updated now? What are the positives? Now a plan has been opened by a notification in the Gazette for revision. What are the proposals that the PDA has formulated for this planning area? Are they opened before the citizens? Nothing is open. They are just asking these piecemeal
Suggestions.
which are actually in reality turning out applications for change in FAR.
Yeah, applications are changing zones.
So what is the PDA? Have they utilized their resources to prepare some positive proposals and place them before the, or probably the government could step in there and resolve the issue between the PDAs and the municipalities, as Nilesh Babu has
Okay, I'll
kindly-
go to deputy.
No, I will just add a small point. On one side, Panji municipality or CCP, Mapsa municipality appoints their own consultants to prepare their development plans and maps. Some private consultants. And the other side, PDA opens his ODP. Are these being synchronized? Are these two organizations working in tandem to the benefit of the citizens? Kai, these are independent exercises.
Okay.
There is one more issue also, because I think he'll like to respond to it. I think, see, in between मध्ये mega projects म्हणून चाललेले आहेत.
Right.
At the mega projects, one side we are saying if there is only scale that we can plan. If there is a small isolated, I plan my plot, someone next person plans it. If you want to plan on a larger scale, you have to do a mega project only, because the infrastructure also has to be there.
Correct.
For example, mobility. At a taxi car, if we plan for a township somewhere or the bus route, it will be economically viable for someone to operate. कोण ते मान घालो की ताका जर चारूच बोडका मेळ्ळी थंय जाल्यार तो खंय कित्याक घालतलो. So see, there should be a scale based provision, and that is exactly what the ODP should do. That is what, see, mega project, we have been talking, and everyone has just been getting into the shell and saying mega projects are bad. I say that mega projects are good if they are actually taken in this sense, but first provide for the infrastructure and then provide for the buildings. That means sewage and everything.
Do you believe in the same point that there is too much overlapping and there is no synchronization, which is creating that haphazardness?
That's true. The haphazard development is primarily because of no coordination. And as I mentioned earlier, the ODP is done or revitalized every 10 years. So what are you doing for the 10 years? So if there is a clear department which is taking care of the entire progress, and then it's recorded, and then you have all the time for people, for public comment, for development. And there is areas like the hinterland and where there is areas where people are already there to work on that, to make sure that there is space, and then there's an excitement about a development.
Development. It's not just a 3 months job, it is a 10-year job.
Yes,
Uh,
process.
पॉलिटिशियनाचं माइंड खंय चेंज करप इजी असता, ब्युरोक्रेट्साचं खूप कठीण असता. तुम्ही प्रयत्न केला असो आणि केल्यार सक्सेसफुल जातले अशें दिसता.
हांवें आतां हालींच विशय एक नवो जाला, एक स्मार्ट सिटीज. केंद्रीय सरकार पॅरामिटर्स घालता पळय तेन्ना स्मार्ट सिटी म्हणजे कितें पळयता, बरे रस्ते, बरी वीज, बरें उदक, तुजे IT, सेफ्टी, हे सगळे पॅरामिटर्स तेजे. म्हणटत हांव केंद्रीय मंत्र्या कडेन उलयतालो, आमचो बाबूल सुप्रियो, आनी ते सांगली सगळीं फंक्शनां आमच्या ट्रान्सपोर्ट डिपार्टमेंटा कडेन आहा, हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंटा कडेन आहा, तुजे एड्युकेशन डिपार्टमेंटा कडेन आहा, तुजे सुएज कॉर्पोरेशन कुशीन आहा. म्हणटत ही म्युनिसिपल फंक्शनां न्हू, ते इंटिग्रेट खंय करतलो आतां परते. तूं पयशे दिता आनी म्हाका ट्रान्सपोर्टाक दितालो. म्युनिसिपालिटी कडेन फंक्शन ना, तें फंक्शन ट्रान्सपोर्ट डिपार्टमेंटा कडेन आहा. तूं हेल्थाक पयशे दितलो, हेल्थ म्युनिसिपालिटी कडेन ना, परते हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंटा कडेन आहा. हें सगळें इंटिग्रेशन जावपाक जाय न्हू. आनी गोंयांत तरी कठीण म्हणून तुजे विचार आहा पळय बाकीच्या शहरांनी, मोठी शहरांनी तेंची सगळीं फंक्शनां म्युनिसिपालिटी कडेन आसता. आनी गोंयानूच ना तें. गोंया फक्त गार्बेज थोडी पळयता, स्ट्रीट लायटींग थोडे पळयता, थोडे खंयो साफ करपाचें तें पळयता. तेजे वयर म्युनिसिपालिटी व्हडली फंक्शनां ना. म्हणटकच हें कहें जातलें, म्हणजे नगरपालिका इतक्यो ल्हान आहात, तूं फंड्स दिवं शकता तांकां, आमी कितें करया. आनी आतां म्हाजो प्रपोजल गेला कितें, पणजे आमची स्मार्ट सिटी करची म्हणून. तेचे बरोबरूच मुर्मुगांव आनी मारगांव 3 शहरां बरोबर पोवची. म्हणजे ते भाशेन आमी म्हणजे गोंया सिटी स्टेट खंय विचार करीत जाल्यार खूब बरें जावपाचें. ते पासून म्हटलें हांवें गोंय एक मोठें शहर, ताचो विचार करया मोठो शहर म्हणून. आनी मोठ्या शहरान कितें गरजेच्यो वस्तू आहाय त्यो सारकें प्लॅनिंग करून मास्टर प्लॅन करया म्हणून. आनी प्रत्येक विलेजीन करपाक कठीण जाता, कित्याक ताचो आकारूच इतको ल्हान आहा, तूं कांयच करूं शकना, तुका मोबिलिटी कांयच ना भितर तातूंत. म्हणटच हो विशय करता आनी म्हाका दिसता गोंयचो एक रोड मॅप करीत जाल्यार खूब बरें जातलें अशें दिसता म्हज्या मता प्रमाण.
यू वॉन्ट अ गोवा प्लॅन.
गोवा प्लॅन वूड बी मोर एप्रोप्रिएट. म्हणजे गोंयकारांक कितें जाय पळय तें एक बाजू जालो, प्रत्येक आपलो आपलो भाग आहा पळय तो डेव्हलप करचो.
ही गजाल पडटा, इट शूड बी अ गोवा प्लॅन, नॉट अ प्लॅन ऑफ पॉकेट्स, अ प्लॅन ऑफ सिटीज, अ प्लॅन ऑफ विलेजीस.
ते खूब ल्हान जाता.
अल्टिमेटली आमगे लँडमासच असो आसा. इफ वी आर ट्रायंग टू प्लॅन समथींग,
You require the scale.
you require a scale,
If
and that
not
scale,
for whole of Goa.
fortunately or unfortunately, is Goa.
If not for whole of Goa, at least for the 4 talukas, Murmugaon, Tiswadi, Bardez and Salsett.
अशें म्हणून तुमी लोक डावट घेवपाक लागता.
This, no, because it is a, see, लोकांक डाऊट घेतलो म्हण the fact, you cannot change the facts. No? आज तू वास्को आणि मडगांव च्या मध्ये कितलो ओपन स्पेस उरला ते पळय, किंवा पणजी आणि म्हापशाच्या मध्ये कितलो ओपन स्पेस उरला तो पळय, किंवा मडगांव आणि फोंडाच्या मध्ये कितलो ओपन स्पेस उरला तो पळय. Whatever people might say, it is not going to change the reality.
Correct.
You have to plan for those areas. If you do not plan for those areas, you are going to create an even bigger mess.
कितें म्हणटा
Yeah, I feel like
गोवा फॉर्म्युला बरो काय गोवा फॉर्म्युला बरो?
I feel Goa formula is the, because see what we have is 100 kilometers by 70 kilometers. So that is smaller than even any metropolitan city if you look at, which actually the smart city concept works at. But you should not look at it politically or administratively, but you look at it generically. कशें म्हणलें हांवें तुका, कितें तुमचें कितें हें आसा, म्हणजे हेरिटेज आसा, कन्जर्वेशन आसा, एनवायरमेंट आसा, तुमी कितें दवरूंक सोदता फॉर पॉस्टेरिटी, for the future generations, that requires to be kept number one, because
Correct.
there are elements in the entire environment that we require, it's our responsibility to take it forward. That is one thing. There are certain elements that we require to renew because every generation has got their right of development. You can't say that I did it 10 years back, you can't do it. So every generation will get that right from this
Correct.
particular area. And it's very important to identify areas for new development of a scale, wherein that scale is sustainable. And it's not from small township of just 200